Let's have a session on a competitive environment. So competition is when a business operates in a local, national or global market, but there are other businesses that are providing similar goods or services. And these other businesses providing similar goods or services are known as rivals. Now let's go through these rivals in that the fact they may have strengths and weaknesses. Let's go through that. So your rivals, well, they might charge lower prices than you. They might have higher quality products than you. Clearly that's a strength. But as a result of that, maybe they have higher costs. They might have higher footfall or a better location than you, but that might have incurred a higher cost. They might have a wide product range compared to you. Again, that's a strength for them, but that might mean that they are less able to exploit economies of scale. It might also mean that they have higher storage costs. They might have better customer service, but that might be because they have higher training costs. Now, moving beyond the strengths and weaknesses of rivals, we need to look at the impact of having more competition or the impact of having less competition. We'll start with more competition. So if you in a market and you now have more rivals, well, that's going to have impacts. It might mean that you need to reduce your prices to stay competitive. That might lead to you reducing your revenue. It might mean that you need to increase your marketing as a result of new entrants to the market in order for you to retain your customers. You might need to increase the quality of your goods or services, but that might lead to higher costs. You might have to improve your customer service, but that might be leading to higher training costs. The other side to the impact of more competition in your market is the impact of less competition in your market. Let's go through that. So if you've got less rivals in your market, well, that might mean you're likely to have higher sales. The reason why is because customers have fewer options. And if customers have fewer options, well, then you might be able to raise your prices. And if you're having higher sales, higher prices, then it's likely you're going to make higher profits. Now, the question is, what do you do with these higher profits? Well, you could invest more. You could increase your investment. Or if you're the business ownership structure that is a public limited company, well, then you might pay your shareholders higher dividends. Now, the other thing that we need to look at beyond this, about the impact of less competition, is what are the opportunities and dangers of this situation. We'll start with the opportunities. So the opportunities of having higher profits from less competition. Well, as I said before, higher investment. But what does higher investment mean? It means that you might be able to invest in new capital, new machinery that improves your production. Maybe you move to flow production, for example. That could mean that you get technical economies of scale. And if you're getting technical economies of scale as a consequence of more investment in your production and in your machinery, you might be able to reduce your average cost per unit. Now, on one side, we looked at the opportunities. Let's look at the dangers of increased competition. Well, the dangers are you get lazy, you get complacent if you have no competition. That might mean that you, in fact, invest less. And if you invest less, you might reduce the barriers to entry in your market. And that allows, because you haven't done all that investment, it allows rivals to enter the market and they become competitive to you. They might actually steal your market share. I hope that helps with the competitive environment, and I'll see you at the next sesh.